I would like to ask people to view this with an open mind. I don't think it's fair to criticize the past using the morality of the present. Because morality, just like science, evolves, and you need the building blocks of the previous years in order to get to the place where you are today. Criticizing a person from the past for not having the correct morality is like criticizing a medieval peasant for not taking antibiotics when he came up with the case of the Black Plague. Doesn't really make sense, it's not fair, but it's still an interesting thing to look at how people viewed the massive influx of women into the workforce. So in 1943, as you guys know, the Second World War was happening, most men were on the front, and because of that, you now needed the women to step forward and occupy the space in the workplace. However, because of that, a lot of people didn't know how to handle this. So it's very funny for us looking back, but for a society that never dealt with this problem before, yeah, they literally had to write guides and try to understand how to do this. And reading this, to me, it shows that they actually wanted to make the women happy, and they were trying their best in order to not just increase the productivity that women had at the office, but also to train the employers on how to have positive interactions and not to embarrass themselves. So let's look at the 11 tips on getting more efficiency out of women employees. The first one, pick young married women. They usually have more of a sense of responsibility than their unmarried sisters, and they need the work or they wouldn't be doing it. They still have the pep and interest to work hard and to deal with the public efficiently. So the marriage thing is very interesting because when I grew up, people who are married, both men and women, were more sought out by the employers because they view the fact that being married means you have a family at home that you're responsible for. So you're going to work extra hard in order to provide for that family. So that was the mentality then. And it was both for men and women. However, now the mentality, and I know it because I talked to several employers, is that they prefer the man who is divorced and has children. And this really took me aback. It's like, why is that? Why do they prefer someone like that? And the answer is that they can make him work overtime. So for example, if it's a development company and they're crunching, then he can spend 10, 11 hours at work because he doesn't have a nagging spouse at home. He's not going to have a wife like in Breaking Bad where you have Sylar going, it's like, oh, why aren't you home more often? You work 2 jobs, blah, blah. So he's not going to have that, but he's going to have the responsibility of paying for child support. So he needs the money and he is desperate to keep the job, but at the same time, the employer can force him to work overtime if need be. And when he is at home, instead of spending time with the family, he can also start writing more letters for the customer. So that is the perfect employee nowadays. Of course, because of diversity officers and all of that, they now have to fill a quota of women, but like, they can focus more on the perfect type of candidate, which is the divorced individual which has children and has to pay child support. As for the flirtation, like this is also something interesting. From what we saw recently, flirting at the office usually ends up with a lawsuit. So I wouldn't be surprised if back then they wanted to keep flirting to a minimum, especially when, again, like this was something new for society. Husbands coming around with the idea that the wife is at work was also something very difficult for them to understand. So, you know, like making sure that flirting is happening to a minimum is definitely what they were concerned about at the time. So moving up to number 2, when you have to use older women, try to get the ones who have worked outside the home at some time in their lives. Older women who have never contacted with the public have a hard time adapting themselves and are inclined to be cantankerous and fussy. It's always well to improve upon older women the importance of friendliness and courtesy. So this is why I'm saying we should look at this with an open mind, because we're talking about a different society. recently, because of the pandemic measures, the quarantine and all of that, my last 2 years have been spent mostly at home. And it wasn't just because of the government mandates, but it was also due to the fact that, for example, during the winter, all the bars were closed, all the restaurants were closed, so I couldn't go out with my friends to meet anywhere. And I spent most of my time at home. Do you know what happened? I developed a stutter. I became more fussy. Like, certain things that I didn't have, I realized that I now have them. I don't feel like going outside the same way I used to. I became a little bit more introverted. It's not like I can't go outside, but I view it as more of a chore. It's kind of like doing homework, like you can do it, but it's not something you're looking up to. So just by staying 2 years within my house, and it's not like I was under house arrest. I still went out. I still did shopping. I still eventually went out to a place or two, but like overwhelmingly, I spent most of my time indoors, and it changed me. It really did. And this was like just for 2 years. Now imagine if you're talking about an elderly person who spent most of her life like this. Yeah, I can definitely see why a person who has been a shut-in most of their lives would have difficulty adjusting in public. Because again, like, this is now happening to me, and I hope I manage to resume adjusting in public. Number 3, general experience indicates that husky girls, those who are a little on the heavy side, is that a word that people use, like a husky girl? Are more even-tempered and efficient than their underweight sisters. I don't really know why they would come to this conclusion, but okay. Retaining a physician to give each woman you hire a special physical exam, one covering female conditions, this step not only protects the property against lawsuits, but reveals whether the employee has any female weaknesses which would make her mentally or physically unfit for the job. Oof, I guess they're talking about pregnancy here. And obviously now it's illegal for an employer to inquire if a woman is pregnant or not. But I think this is what they're concerned about. And the way they're framing it is kind of like they know the regulation is going to come down. They kind of know that eventually it's going to be illegal to do this. So they're using euphemisms and they're trying to get around the issue. It's adorable. Stress at the outset of importance of time and the fact that a minute or two lost here and there makes serious inroads on schedules. Until this point is getting across, service is likely to be slowed up. So, in other words, Amazon deals with this, you know? But Amazon, like, is so rough that employees have to piss in water bottles in order to keep the schedule. However, we need to keep an open mind, right? Like, imagine your entire life, you're stuck at home and you're doing house chores. And there is no deadline for the house chores. I mean, they have to be done. You can procrastinate if you want. Like, nothing bad happens if you're late a little bit. And all of a sudden, you have to move from that to a business where everything has to be done on a deadline. It's difficult adjusting. I mean, I would have difficult adjusting with that as well. Probably I would have difficult adjusting even now after doing YouTube for so many years and having to go back to the hospital and go back to a schedule. I mean, it's not impossible, but it would be very difficult the first couple of months. So yeah, I can definitely understand why number 5 is a thing. Number 6, give the female employee a definite day-long schedule of duties so that they'll keep busy without bothering the management for instructions every minute. Numerous properties say that women make excellent workers when they have their jobs cut out for them, but that they lack initiative in finding work themselves. Oh my fucking god, this is me. This is me right here, chat. They literally described me. This is my experience at every single workplace. Everywhere I went. Like, okay, so you go to a workplace and you have to do your job. And you finish doing your job because you're not lazy. You actually want to do your job. And what ends up happening is that you finish before everyone else. But then when the management comes up and sees that you're doing nothing, they chastise you for it. And it's like, why aren't you doing nothing? Why aren't you working? It's like, because I finished. And it's like, well, then act busy. This is what really pisses me off. Act busy. I do not understand the concept. Like, what do you mean act busy? It's like, either I'm busy or I'm not. I'm not an actor. If you want an actor hire a freaking actor. Why are you asking me to act busy? So this really bothered me so freaking much, and it lowered my productivity, because now I was like, okay, well, I should take my time doing this task, because if I finish, and I know I can finish before everyone else, but if I finish, then I'm going to have to act busy. So yeah, no, I don't think like this applies only to women. I think it applies to men as well. Like, it's not my job to go around and seek work and have the initiative to find other work. Like, it's the job of the man. What is the management doing anyway? What is their job? What do they have to do? Isn't it their fault if I don't have something to do? Isn't there like a guy on top that makes sure that every employee has something to do? So when does management get to be blamed? When can we blame them? No, it's like, now it's my fault. Cause oh God, I hate these people. Number 7. Whenever possible, let the inside employee change from one job to another at some time during the day. Women are inclined to be less nervous and happier with change. So, I don't know why this is for women, because it applies to me as well. Most jobs, like if you have a job where you have to do the same thing over and over, like pulling a lever. So you constantly pull the lever from the moment you go to work until you go home. That is going to be soul crushing. A little bit of variety improves productivity, so make sure that if you have, like for example, let's say you work at McDonald's. And there's the burger station, and then there's the salad station. Like, try to switch the employees up every now and then. Like, have the guy do the burger station for half a day and then move him to salad. It actually does improve his mindset, because he's not flipping burgers 24/7. And on top of that, the day where the salad guy gets sick, the burger guy can fill in. I don't know, I'm pretty sure like some people in the chat will disagree with me, but I'm telling you, people like me, and there's a lot of people that are like me, really benefit from having this switcheroo happen. Give every girl an adequate number of rest periods during the day. You have to make some allowances for feminine physiology. A girl has more confidence and is more efficient if she can keep her hair tidied, apply fresh lipstick, and wash her hands several times a day. Oh my fucking God, they just explained to me why my wife is cranky whenever I rush her out of the house and don't let her to spend as much time as she wants in the bathroom to pretty herself up. It's almost like, you know, like, let's say you have to go to the movies, and the movie begins at 8 p.m., so you need to get out of the house by 7:30 p.m. And at 7:30 p.m., the wife is still doing makeup. And if you start like, come on, we need to go, we need to, look, it's time. If you do that, she's going to be fussy all evening. Like, she's not going to feel well. Now, if this is true, I understand why. I need to allow her to do this. Like, this is important. It's like foreplay. Be tactful when issuing instructions or in making criticisms. Women are often sensitive. They can't shrug off harsh words the way men do. Never ridicule a woman. It breaks her spirit and cuts off her efficiency. Is this why mean tweets are a problem in this day and age? Because I never understood them. It's like, mean tweets, why are they an issue? But not only that, like when you have a university professor analyze the behavior of two men playing online video games, and they're like, oh my God, the language. Like, maybe that's why, you know, like if you put yourself into their shoes, it's like, oh, well, if a man would talk to me like that, I would never. But that's how men talk. It's like, so maybe, is it? Like, let me know in the comment section if I'm being misogynistic here. I don't know. I don't think I am. I think it's an interesting observation, though. Because, yeah, like, if you can go to a man and you can talk to him in a certain way that you would never talk to a woman. Be reasonably considerate about using strong language around women. Even though a girl's husband or father may swear vociferously, she'll grow to dislike a place of business where she hears too much of this. Man, is this made for women or is this made for me? I don't like places where everyone is cursing either. Like, if I go to work and everyone is shouting and everyone is cursing nonstop. I mean, a little bit of cursing here and there, yes. But, like, if they were to curse 24/7, I would not like it there very much. Get enough size variety in operators' uniforms so that each girl can have a proper fit. This point can't be stressed too much in keeping women happy. Well, I mean, again, I don't think men would be happy if they had to wear uniforms that aren't adequate. Like, if you're a small size and you're given an XL uniform, or vice versa, yeah, I think that would create unhappiness. So this is what people thought in 1943. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.